for online kids. So we're going to start today with den. Hopefully you finished your den. And we're going to talk about subtracting integers. So it's a new lesson. And after that, you're going to have one IXL practice. Okay, it's a C6. And I'll show you. Then there is a one exit ticket. It's in a part of your participation grade. So today's objective is students can justify the rule for subtraction. Subtracting a number is the same thing as adding its opposite. Okay, this is the statement that you always need to remember when you subtract negative integers. And about then, so if you click the present and if you click this box, so there is a 3 questions. The first one is also a review from first week. It's the absolute value of 12. Which parentheses represents absolute value of 12? Straight parentheses, circle parentheses, square parentheses, or curly parentheses. So if you remember about absolute value, so you need to pick one. And there is a 3 numbers. You need to find a pattern of these 3 numbers and what is the missing one. And the last one is about an example, a word description of adding integers. Okay. So let's say you borrow $6.50 from your friend, and then $11.75 from your sister. And so how much money you need to pay back? So you need to figure out what would be total of these 2 values. Okay. And so this is the then. Now let's go back to our I do part. So let's talk about first subtracting positive numbers. And this is very obvious one that you already know until today. So let's say you have a 4 and 2. Subtracting means like crossing out one of your cards. If you think about as an integer game, just the crossing out. Crossing out means you're taking away that card as a number. So 2 minus 2, these are crossed out. And the result would be 4, okay? And on the number line, if you think that 4, it's starting at 0, you're ending at 4, and your second number is starting at 4 till 6, right? Oops, this arrow too big. Okay, so means like it's crossing out that arrow. This means like taking away. On the second example, actually, it's the same example, but do you remember the statement in the objective for today? It's subtracting a number. It's the same thing, adding of its opposite. So -2 is opposite of 2. If you add this, actually, you're going to get like that's the subtraction. Actually, this is the another way you can remember subtracting a number, positive number, okay? Adding its opposite. So it's going to be again 4 because 2 and -2, they're cancel out each other. So they're cross out each other. Let me show you on the number line what I mean. So starting at 0 and it goes to 4 and second card is 2, okay? So you're starting at 4 this time and going to 6 and next card is subtracting 2 means you're going back to, so you're here and you're going back here again, okay? So your final destination would be 4 and your result is 4. So this is the meaning of subtraction. Actually, it's adding its opposite. And okay, so let's go on the next slide. So this is the math that you already know, like subtracting a positive number. It's just taking away that number in your list, okay? And on the next one, so here's the conclusion for this slide. Subtracting a positive card changes the score in the same way as adding a card with its additive inverse, okay? So if you see in the last one, okay, this is not going away. Okay, so on the bottom, as you see, there is a 4 minus 2. It's the same thing with 4 plus negative 2. Okay, so 4 subtracting 2 actually is the same thing with adding of second number is opposite. So second number is in here is a positive number. It's adding its opposite means like adding opposite of 2, which is negative 2. So this is the conclusion for this slide. Okay, on the next one. Now let's talk about subtracting negative number. This is kind of tricky. So let's say you have two cards again, 4 and negative 2. Like in the real life, if you think as an integer game, like subtracting is just a crossing out that number, just taking away. So you have a second number is negative 2, just meaning taking away that negative 2. Okay, so on the number line, it's the same thing. Let's say you have a 0 till 4. It's right here. And the second number is starting at 4. You need to go 2 steps back because the second card is negative 2. You're subtracting negative 2. So in a regular way that we know, we just need to cross out. We just need to cross out that arrow to find the subtraction, which is 4 again, right? And in the second example, actually crossing out or taking away that card is the same thing as adding its opposite. It's the same statement for this kind of cases too. Okay, so let's talk about, let me show you this one. So first card is 4, which is you need to go and find 4. It's right here. And your second card is negative 2, which is you need to go 2 steps backward. Okay, and your third card is positive 2. So you ended at 2, so you're going to start at 2 and you're going to go move forward to 2 step 2 again. It's because your last card is positive 2. So you ended, as you see, at 4. I'm going to circle this if you can see this. So as you see, subtracting, like crossing out negative 2 is the same thing as adding its opposite. So negative 2 is a number, opposite of negative 2 is 2. So this is what I mean. So subtracting any number, it's the same thing with adding its opposite. So here's the conclusion. Like if you see the example on the bottom, all the way on the bottom. So there is like 2 minuses in front of 2. Did you see this? Subtracting negative 2. It's the same thing with adding 2. If you remember in the first week of the school year, I told you like if 2 negative signs meet together, it's the same thing like they become positive. So whenever you see 2 negative comes together, just assume that it's positive, okay? So instead of 4 minus and minus 2, it's the same thing with 4 plus 2, okay? This is the rule for subtraction for negative number, okay? And let's go on the next slide. This time, and let's summarize what we learned today, okay? The first thing, subtracting a number is the same thing adding its opposite. So this is the statement we always need to remember. For example, 8 minus 2 is the same thing as 8 plus negative 2. So minus action becomes positive plus, and your positive 2 becomes negative 2. It's the same thing, subtracting a number, adding its opposite. So adding opposite of 2. And another example, here's another example. 4 minus negative 2, negative 3 is the same thing as 4 plus 3. As I told you, like there is a 2 negative sign. 2 negative becomes positive. So this is the easy way you can remember. Okay, so you'll end up the same result. Okay, so now let's do the we do part. So this is the lesson for today, subtracting positive and negative numbers. Now, what I'm going to ask you is, could you open up your chat box? I'm going to open here. And so I'm going to ask a couple questions. So let's see if you understand this, okay? The first one is 8 minus 2. So this is a subtracting positive number, right? What do you think result would be? Just type in the chat box. Yes, it is. Thank you. We have a lot of positive 6. Yes, it is a positive 6. So I'm going to say equals positive 6. Thank you. That's perfect. So second is, it's slightly different this time. 4 minus 9. You still subtract positive number, but this time you subtract bigger number from smaller number. So result would be different. What do you think? Okay, we have a couple answers, and you're right. Yes, it is a -5. I have a lot of answers with -5. Thank you. So you got the point now. It's a -5. Okay, and next one, let's see. So this time, your first number is negative, second number is positive. So you're subtracting again a positive number from negative number. So what do you think? Okay, well, we have two different answers in the chat box. A lot of them are saying 4, some of them are saying -10. Which one do you think would be right? We have a lot of -4 and a couple of them says -10. So let me explain this. Okay, so here's the thing. Your first number is -3. Yes, it is a -3. As I told you in the statement, subtracting a number is the same thing adding of its opposite. Okay, what is the opposite of 7? -7, okay? So now you have, look at this. When you add two negative numbers, -3 and -7, what do you think result would be? Do you guys remember on the number line, when you keep adding negative numbers over and over again, your arrow is keep going on the left side. So which means the number is getting smaller and smaller. Yes, which means when you have two the same sign numbers, when you add them, you just need to add the numbers. Yes, it is a 10, and put the common sign. Common sign is both numbers are negative, so you're going to put negative. Okay, so this is how we correct ourselves. Okay, and I'm going to show you in the calculator why is that. So the first step is subtracting a number. It's the same thing, adding its opposite. So opposite of 7, -7. And because of both numbers has the same sign, you just need to add the values, 7 and 3, it's 10, and put the common sign, it's a -10. Thank you so much, whoever said it, -10, okay? And don't worry about the others. So this is how we learn. Actually, making mistakes is also learning, okay? All right, and next thing, let's see on the next problem. So now this time it's getting a little bit complicated, but it's not too much. Think about, you're subtracting this time negative number, -2, from another negative number. So what happens these two negative signs? This is the key point that you need to remember. What happens when you see two negative signs, and what do you think the result would be? Okay, it's change. Yes, thank you so much. Somebody told me. But okay, what do you think the result would be? So somebody got the right answer. Another person got the right answer. Okay. Yeah, somebody is kind of not sure, put a question mark, and we will clarify that answer. Don't worry about it, okay? So here's the thing. So your first number is -9. It's a -9, okay? And your second number is -2. As I told you, like when two negative signs comes together, they become positive. So 2 negative becomes positive, and you just need to put the 2 now. So answer is 7, but you guys need to make sure whether it's positive or negative. Thank you so much. We have a lot of 7 answers. So now you simplified this problem, like 2 negative becomes positive, so it's just a -9 plus 2. And now you can show it on the number line. So first number is -9, which is starting at 0. You need to go to -9. It's right here. And your second number is adding 2, means you need to move forward, to the right. So you end it at 9, and you're going like 2 steps forward. Did you see? It is a 7, but what kind of 7? -7, yay, okay. So the answer is -7. So let me show you on the calculator now. Hold on, let me turn on my Elmo. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here's the Elmo. Nobody can see on the calculator. So using a calculator is actually the coolest and fastest way. Can you guys see? Oh yeah, you can see it. And let me clear out. So the last problem was kind of confusing, right? There is a lot of negative signs. So for my calculator, I need to type first the negative sign, and negative sign is all the way on the bottom. There is a negative sign inside of parentheses. I'm not sure you can see it, but this is the calculator we have right now. Let me shadow it. Okay, now you can see it. So this is the negative sign. So the last problem was -9. So I'm going to put -9 and subtracting -2, right? So if you see, there is a 2 negative signs, like negative is a smaller dash, but action like minus or subtracting sign is a longer dash. Okay, so when you hit the enter, yes, it is a -7. So I like personally, I recommend to use a calculator. That's the easy and quickest way to get to do the subtractions and additions without any mistakes. The only thing, you need to correctly use the negative sign. In most of the calculators, you will see a negative sign like inside of parentheses. Okay, so this is how you use your calculator when you do the subtractions. So I'm going to go back my slide now. And let's share my screen. Share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so so this is the practice for subtraction, and let's see and what we have on the next slide. So it's finding the differences. Now I would ask you, using your own calculator, what do you think -2 minus -5 would be? You can type your answer in a chat box. Using your own calculators, try to find the result for -2 minus -5. So if you see my calculator, like if I do this, it's going to be an error. Look at this. So let me clear out. Let me do the same problem. If I say -9 minus and -2. So if you do this, it becomes an error like this, syntax error. So for the negative numbers, you need to use a negative sign. Let's clear out. So look at this, -9, then minus and -2. Okay, try in this way. So then you're not going to see an error. Okay, so has anybody got the answer for this one? Yes.
3.
It is a 3, +3. Perfect. So let me show you why. So if you simplify this, 2 negative becomes positive, or the statement was saying subtracting a number, it's the same thing, adding its opposite. So opposite of -5 will be +5. So -2, adding its opposite means adding +5. So now you can do this. -2 plus 5 is, as somebody said, it's 3. Thank you. Okay, what do you think next one would be? This is kind of easy now. So yes, it is. Thank you. So 2 negative signs becomes positive, and first number is 11, second number is 8. So which is, it's 19. And the last one, let's try the last one. So first number is -10. I'm going to type -10. And so 2 negative becomes positive, or subtracting a number is the same thing, adding its opposite. So opposite of -4 is 4. So adding 4. And so -10 plus 4 is
14.
Are you sure? So think about, you have You borrowed from your friend $10 and you gave back $4. How many dollars you owe? 6. Yes, thank you. So owing means like it's a -6. So let me confirm this. Thank you so much. Yes, I saw your responses on the chat box. Yes, it is a -6. So so this is the about subtracting negative numbers and positive numbers. So this practice is all negative numbers, okay? And let's see what we have on the next. So this is a right to equivalent expressions that represents the situation. And the first one is, an airplane flies at an altitude of 25,000 feet. So is this number is positive 25,000 or negative 25,000 if airplane flies on the air? We have two different answers. Positive. Do you know why? Yes, it's because it's like up in the air and it's because above the sea level. Okay, thank you. And it will be 25,000. 25,000 and it's positive. So second thing is a submarine dives to the depth of 600 feet below the sea level. What do you think the number would be? Positive 600 or negative 600?
Negative.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
No. I do. Because it's below sea level.
Yes, it's because it's below the sea level. So everything below the sea level will count negative in the real life. Okay. And last one is next one is challenging. Let's see who can get this one. What is the difference in their elevation?
One is high, one is low.
Okay. So what do you think the difference is? Subtracting these two numbers or adding these two? So difference is adding these two numbers or subtracting these two numbers? Subtracting. Okay, we're going to subtract 25,000 with 600. The second number is negative 600. I apologize, it's a negative 600. And what do you think the elevation would be between these two different objects? 25,000. Because of there is a two negative sign, it becomes positive. So you need to add these two numbers. So it becomes, thank you so much, 25,600. Okay. And this is about today's lesson. So there is a one IXL that you need to practice. It's a C6 integer subtraction rules. Okay. Try to get as close as 70 and feel free to use your calculators. Okay. So let me show you a couple of examples what it looks like. So okay, let me show you. So let's do a couple questions together. Okay. Does everybody has a calculator in this classroom? No? If you don't have, try to use this calculator. It says desmos.com/scientific. Did you see this? So this is the another way if you don't have a calculator in a classroom. Okay? I mean, please, because you guys need to get used to how to use a calculator. So let's go back to your assignment. It's in a Google Classroom. I just shared this morning. It's a C6. If you click it, and here's the link. When you go to that link, and let me sign in. So this kind of questions. So -66 minus 9. What do you think result would be? Positive or negative? Negative. Do you know how?
Yeah, because it's 66 versus 9.
Yeah, but those verses are for addition. So, but that's the right answer. It is a negative. To confirm this, you just need to copy this and go back to Desmos and try to double check. Like
it doesn't let me copy.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's weird then. So your result is negative. Okay, so this is how you determine. And this problem is like 7 minus -8. as you see, there is a 2 negative signs, which becomes positive. So 7 plus 8 is 7 plus 8 is positive. Yes, because you're adding the 2 positive numbers. Okay. And next one is, what do you think? This is kind of different now. So this becomes positive, by the way. Which one is greater, 36 or 9? The 36 is greater number than 9, and the sign of the 36 is negative. So when you add, so this 2 negative sign becomes positive. 70. So this becomes positive. So the first number is, the value of the first number is bigger than 9. So the sign of the 9 number is negative. So result would be negative. So next one. Again, these 2 negative sign becomes positive. Okay. So this 2 negative becomes positive. So now pay attention to these 2 numbers. The first number is 56, second number is 42. So 53 is greater than 42. But if you pay attention, the sign of the bigger number, larger number, it's a negative sign. So the result has to be negative. Okay. And another problem, oh, this is just, you're subtracting smaller number from bigger number, which is positive. Okay, thank you so much. If you finished, please make sure, this is the practice for today. If you finished, please make sure you turn in this assignment. Like once you go like view assignment, on the right side, there is a mark as done. Make sure you click it, turn in, so I can see that you turn it in, and I can give you grade for your practice, okay? And before you leave, there is an exit ticket. So make sure you do the exit ticket. It's a part of your participation grade and counts 25%. So if you click it, so tell me what you learned today. And there is a 1-word problem about decreasing temperature. What do you think? How many degrees it decreased? And again, one more thing, when you get a distance between 2 numbers, what kind of parentheses you use? Absolute value, regular parentheses, or square parentheses? So there is only 2 questions. Before you go, please make sure you do this and turn in, okay? Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can type on the chat box and I'll respond it immediately, okay? So I'm gonna stop recording now.